Welcome back. Thank you for joining me again today. I'm going to talk about something that almost everybody says they want. And it's balance. Or work-life balance. And we're told to find balance, to seek balance, to protect balance, to maintain balance. And somewhere along the way, many people they start making themselves wrong for wanting more intensity, for wanting more depth, and for wanting more greatness. It's funny. It was a while back. I had a conversation with somebody who's doing their PhD in biology, and I was talking about my life. And my life, I don't believe in balance, not in the traditional sense, right? I believe in finding joy in things. Like, I don't need a lot of one thing. I seem to lean into another thing. And the idea is, like, I work 6 days a week, 12 hours a day. And today's Sunday, and Sunday morning, I'll go for a run. I'll meet a friend for coffee. I'll come into my clinic, and I'll spend a few hours recording podcast episodes and recording videos for Reels. And I love my life. Like, people are like, "Oh, you must be tired. You work way too much." And I'm like, God, I don't work enough. I mean, the only reason I work the hours I do is because, like, I'm in my clinic before the building opens, and I finish after the building closes. So I couldn't really work any earlier or later. And if it was open Sunday, I'd probably work Sunday too. And they're like, "What about work-life balance?" I'm like, well, what do you mean work-life balance? Like, I don't get work-life balance. Like, I love what I do so much that I dive as deeply as I can when I can. And then when I do take time off, I dive deeply into whatever I'm doing there. And I kind of flow back and forth between the different things I love. And they were saying, "Oh, that sounds kind of like dynamic equilibrium." And I'm like, "Oh, what's dynamic equilibrium?" And they're like, "Well, in biology, there's this idea, they call it dynamic equilibrium. And they say you have this, in this forest area, you have a population of rabbits and a population of lynx, which is a wild cat. And the rabbits are the food for the lynx. And say when there's a population explosion of the rabbits, it causes the lynx population to start proliferating until it gets pretty big, and until the rabbit population starts depleting to the point where it can't support that population anymore. And so either some of the lynx will die of starvation, or they'll move on. And they'll keep on moving on and depleting until the point that there's very few. And when there's few predators, rabbits who proliferate quite quickly will start proliferating, and they'll have this massive population of rabbits again. And of course, then it'll reverse again. The lynx will start coming up, and the rabbits will come down. And I thought, whoa, that's actually a cool thing, because, like, the truth is, at this point in my life, I'm the strongest, healthiest, and most capable. And this is where I'm going to lean really hard into my work and really making a difference in the world. Because there very well may be a time when I can't go to do this as intensely as I could. So I really, really want to do it now, and it brings me joy. So the truth is, like I was saying, I'm not a fan of balance, because I believe balance can become a cage. And if you're not careful, even if you are incredibly hard worker and love working really hard, you may very well start feeling guilty for working hard. And if you're really, like, in the right moment of your life to really get better at the sport you love, and you're diving in it so deeply, you might start feeling guilty for training too hard. and like missing out. Or if you're the biggest dreamer in the world, you might start feeling guilty for dreaming too big, or being obsessed with a goal, or caring deeply about something. And sometimes because of this guilt, or the people around you might say, I know I should slow down, or they say, you should slow down, or I know I should be more balanced, or I'm probably doing too much. But what if the problem isn't you? What if the problem isn't you being obsessed with your goals, you're training hard, you're working hard? What if the problem isn't you? What if the problem is the word balance itself? And like I was saying, I was talking about dynamic equilibrium. Let's get away from balance and look at dynamic equilibrium, because I don't believe in balance in the way it's commonly described. I believe in dynamic equilibrium. And it doesn't mean that everything gets equal energy or tension all the time. It doesn't. It means things move, priorities shift, focus changes, and seasons evolve. Because we're not meant to be perfectly even at all times. It's insane. I don't think it's possible. And what a big creator of guilt if you're trying to achieve something that's almost impossible. See, because literally, you're meant to be alive, responsive, and intentional. But then, of course, we have to take into effect that the cost of being extraordinary. There is a cost. There's a cost of doing everything. And if you want to be extraordinary at something, it's going to cost you. And athletes really are aware of this. An athlete chasing excellence often gives up late nights, parties, social convenience, comfort, indulgence. They prioritize recovery, training, nutrition, discipline. And for some reason, when it comes to an athlete who's working at high levels, we don't typically call them imbalanced. Some people do, but most of us call them committed. Interesting, eh? There's no guilt in that. And this is the same for entrepreneurs, artists, writers, builders, creators. The business owner working long hours isn't broken. They're not broken. They're building something. The creator who disappears into their craft so fully that they lose themselves in it. They're not selfish. These people are answering a calling, a purpose. They are being who they are meant to be on this life. Because the difference between ordinary and extraordinary is that little extra. It's not even a lot. Now, there is a danger here. If you were to create balance as a moral standard, people will start shaming themselves for leaning in. I should want less. I should slow down. I should be satisfied. Greatness has never been built on shoulds. In fact, of all things in your life, you should stop shoulding on yourself. Greatness is built on devotion. Greatness is built on a drive, a dream, a passion that within you, something that gets you up every day, gets you out every day. Even when you're feeling doubt, afraid, tired, you still don't stop. You still get up. Now, as I told you, if you start thinking about what if you shifted from balance to dynamic equilibrium? then you could understand that life moves in seasons. And your life actually moves in the same way. There will be season where work takes more, where education takes more, where training takes more, where creativity takes more. Sometimes healing takes more. And there'll be other seasons where relationships grow, rest deepens, play returns, and space opens. But trying to force this idea of balance into every moment is exhausting. I mean, some of the wisest texts on this planet have statements like, there is a season for everything. So why would you try to create balance in everything when, imagine if, up further north here, the growing season is a certain amount of time and you have to get the stuff in the ground as soon as the ground thaws to make sure that it's ready to be harvested before the next snow falls. You imagine if the farmers were like, no, I'm more about balance. So I'll get up a little, I'm going to get up, spend equal time with everything all year round. Do you think they'd ever get a crop in or out? Maybe there is a reason why there's a season for everything. See, you got to find a way to lean in without shame. And that's what dynamic equilibrium is so awesome, because it gives you permission. It gives you permission to lean hard into what you love, to fully chase your goals, and to pursue your dreams unapologetically, without shame, without fear, without constantly questioning yourself. Because tipping the scale is not failure, it's focus. And diving hard in the best moment gives you the best chance of the result you're looking for. Now, if you're afraid that you'll get stuck in that season, the truth is, and what a lot of people forget when they're pushing really hard, the scale will always find its way back. When you've leaned in long enough, life will naturally ask you to rebalance. Your body speaks, your heart whispers, your priority shifts. You don't have to force it. They say when you think about dynamic equilibrium, when you focus in really close, you'll see times when there was incredible lack of balance in one side. And then if you kind of like went down the page, eventually you would see a lack of balance on the other side. But then if you took the whole experience of life and you looked at it, you would see over that life, you created balance, but over time, not all the time. And then one of the other things that gets in the way is the fear of going too far. Because, many people are going to hold back because they're afraid of going too far. But staying small has a cost too. Regret. Sitting on a chair 50 years from now, looking back and thinking, what if? See, I don't want to leave this planet with any what ifs, nothing. I want to leave this planet with like, wow, what a great ride. And I'm completely burnt out and I'm ready for whatever's next. Resentment. Like I said, wondering what if. One day in retrospect, the years of struggle will strike you as the most beautiful. Beauty in the struggle. We've got one life. They say you must live your life independent of the opinions of others. It's the only way to live. So if you know for a fact that this is your time to go for it, which means other areas of your life are not going to get as much attention, go for it. Because in life, we never, ever regret the things we have done. We regret the things we didn't do. You think of the truth to success is very simpler, very simple. You just do your very best every single day. But you never ever compare today's best to yesterday's best. Because today's best might have been like climbing the highest mountain. And tomorrow your best may just be showing up. But both days you gave the 100% of what you have. Like maybe when you just showed up on that day, you're running at 20%, but you gave 100% of the 20%. That's success. So you could think of like dynamic equilibrium. You could reframe it as intentional imbalance. So you're not being taken to a place. You're not being forced to do something. You're not doing something against your will. You're intentionally creating imbalance while striving towards something. It's intentional. It's on purpose. It's choosing what matters right now. What is the most important thing? Where is my energy most beneficial in this moment? It's saying that this season is for this. This is for this. This is the time. This is the opportunity. Carpe diem. Seize the day. And it's saying, I am allowed to go all in. Because the truth is, if you're actually to go all in your life, give it consistent and honest effort the whole way through, balancing it with, on the days you're running at 20%, you would give 100% of the 20%, knowing that you did your very best that day. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter the outcome. You will be satisfied because you'll know there was nothing else you can do. The only thing in this life that causes regret is when you know you could have done more. And not an unrealistic expectation, no, because drop the unrealistic expectation and just lean into when you know that you let up, when you had more. Choosing intentional imbalance, it doesn't make you reckless. It makes you alive. The other thing is you've got to always, always, always remember, don't compare your day-to-day life with somebody's highlight reel. You got to let go of comparison because your equilibrium, your dynamic equilibrium, will not look like anyone else's. Because some people are going to thrive in stillness and other people thrive in motion. Some people are in one season when you're in another. Some people need routine. Other people need intensity. Comparison is the thief of joy. Comparison kills clarity. You got to run your own race. And if you can, run wholly and completely your whole race, then you will have the outcome you're looking for. So say you've spent a number of years chasing, working hard, diving deeply into your dream, and it's time for the scale to tip back, because eventually the project ends, the race finishes, the goal is reached, and the season changes. And when it does, you'll have space to let the scales move a bit and dive deeper into some other things. Because dynamic equilibrium is not movement. It is movement. It's not punishment. So how about you think about a new definition of balance? Because balance is not equal time anymore. From here on out, it's not equal time. Balance is honesty. Honest about what we're going for and what we have to give. And like the only way, or the way to have the greatest chance of success of that dream, is to give it an honest effort. It's about responsiveness. It's about like digging in a little deeper. It's also about understanding when the season's over and like going the other way. It's about being awake and aware. And it's about trusting. It's listening to what matters now and letting that be enough. And not shutting on yourself, of course. So if you're in a season of intensity, don't apologize. Because you're on purpose. If you're obsessed with a dream, don't shrink it. Tip the scale. And when that scale's tipped, trust the process. Lean in, love deeply, work fully. Because when it's time, that scale will find its way back. And then life will be a little different. Hey, once again, thank you for sharing this time with me, for listening, for reframing things, for looking at it from a different angle, for letting go of what society tells you is correct when it doesn't align with your dreams and goals. Thank you for challenging the negative internal dialogue. But most of all, thank you for working on building your own inner advocate.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Your Inner Advocate, a podcast by Kimen Petersen, formerly Conversations with Kimen. If you found value in today's episode, please follow, like, and share the podcast with someone who you think may benefit from it. You can listen on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podbean, and connect on Instagram at your_inner_advocate. Until next time, keep listening to and developing your inner advocate.